Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. That light, it took us to the Mirage Arena. And you might be thinking we're about to get into some combat bouts, and we are, but not after suffering as I have suffered. Yes, as you can see, Aqua gets her Keyblade armor of her own. You can color it in, a bit of a remnant of Birth by Sleep's multiplayer aspects, which you could access from this terminal. But they've been taken out of the HD collections as well as any future versions. Seems a bit odd, actually, because I mean, part of the reason why they cut out the capes as part of the outfits was for online multiplayer functionality, but you would have thought the power of the PS4, 5, and even 3 could have technically handled it, but such is life, I guess. Monster of the Sea. Interesting. And it's at level 8. A tough challenge. An interesting fight for this level in the game. But no, we're not here to do that. Instead, we're here to take a look at the command board. You know, that thing we looked at all the way back in the early parts of the commentary? Well, it's back. And it's back with a vengeance.
Disguised in shadows, the rogue racer reigns! I am Captain Dark!
Oh, by God, if that wasn't an omen, then I don't know what is, but yeah, that was also me showing off, well, a little something I'll get to a little bit later, but anyway, for the Mirage Arena, I'll recap the rules, because God knows I'm not gonna have fucking anything else to say, but yeah, this command board is Castle of Dreams, because of fucking course it is, they had to pick some of the shitest levels in the game. But yeah, to kind of recount what the command board is, basically it's pretty much a take on Monopoly. You go around the board, you pretty much pass by the little keyhole over there, as well as 4 other specific checkpoints. Collect gold points, which is pretty much referred to as GP. You have gold points to spend, gold points to earn a certain amount of threshold of GP, and that pretty much means you're the winner. It can be from 5,000, 10,000, however much you want to set before you start the game. Anyway, you roll the dice, move across different spaces. You have a maximum of 5 command cards that you can either place down to build up your GP, or to level up commands, which is really the only functional gameplay reason you'd be doing this otherwise. As for the cards themselves, again, you can place them down and use those cards in order to level them up, or you can save them to give you an aid in getting around the board and using specific perks, such as, there you have Stun, which is mainly utilized by using attack cards, or you can use magic cards to get stuff like, you know, roll 2 dice, or get like a GP magnet so that you can, you know, get more GP, or you can use stuff like Stun, which basically stuns enemies and has like a bunch of different perks depending on what cards you have at your disposal, and, you know, specific things are in there. It probably sounds a little bit more confusing than in fact I'm making it, but yeah, there's also another thing, random jokers. They basically give you a random selection of certain perks and bonuses that you get by basically having luck of the draw. If you spin the wheel and land on the command that you want by pressing the X button, well, fun's aplenty, really. Anyway, that's a basic description of the event over and done with, just to get you guys back up to speed with what this is. As for the real meat and potatoes of the Castle of Dreams board specifically, rules do specifically change. Again, you do have the special square. In the Land of Departure command board, this was pretty much used as a means of the characters activating their Keyblade glider and having them go to whatever space you choose. This time, however, it's a little bit different, and we are going to be seeing it in a little while, so yeah, I'll pretty much stay my tongue on that, but the rules for this one is basically, well, again, apart from an aesthetic difference, you're also facing off against characters within that specific world, in this case, Cinderella. Or Cinderelli, who's very smelly, and even the dice are themed after the glass slipper, because fuck it, why not? There we go, yeah. Anyway, the special ability that you get for this one, I believe, is a roll of the dice, and that also determines how much you roll, determines how much GP you'll get, so again, if you roll a high number, like, you know, say from 1 to 6, then you pretty much get some delicious GP. But that's only if you land on the special space. However, there is a caveat to this. If you play through the game and unlock command boards after you've pretty much completed your visit to Disney Castle, there is something rather dangerous. But first of all, here's what I was talking about earlier. The fairy godmother will show up from the realm of the dead and pretty much go bibbidi-boppidi-boo, fuck you. And that pretty much, you know, allows you to roll a number, and that'll increase your GP. What do we get? 2. Well, that fucking sucks. Oh no, wait, it was 4. No, we get 400 GP. That'll go nicely, and you can actually tell when you've reached the threshold of GP by when, again, the gold number starts glowing. So, yeah, you do have a threshold to reach, and by the time you hit the center keyhole, that's when you win. As Cinderella did right there. It's not fair. It's not fair. I worked hard for my dreams. A blue, blue, blue. A blue, blue, blue. I give up. And where's my fucking fairy godmother? But anyway, this is the third command board, technically. Deep Space. You get to play as Stitch, and of course we also have many different variables depending on what we play with here. The structure of the board is different between each, command board, obviously, but the rules pretty much remain the same apart from the special spot that you hit. Apart from, I guess, an aesthetic change in dice. Anyway, as I was talking about, to your cost, if you land on the special square, then you can also end up potentially, getting... Okay, you don't technically land on it unless you, get there within the number of your dice roll, but again, if you land on it, as you saw at the beginning of the video, you have a chance of summoning Pete as either Captain Dark, the evil one, who basically steals your GP and pretty much buys command squares for you at the cost of your own GP, or you can get his alter ego, the hero, Captain Justice, who, depending on his turn, will either grant you GP or just pretty much, gift you stuff to help you in the game. That being so, though, depending on whether or not you get Captain Dark or Captain Justice is completely randomized, but it is something that you do have to worry about after you visit Disney Town, because that's pretty much the threshold for activating him. But at the same time, though, it also isn't permanent towards the player, because again, if you have Captain Dark or Justice by your side, if you happen to cross a different player with a threshold, then they could potentially inherit Captain Dark as he starts following them around and, potentially screwing them over, or benefiting them if they have Captain Justice and, they're pretty much bumbling about getting more GP than you, and potentially winning the game, if you're really interested in that sort of thing. Anyway, to talk about what this specific command board's special ability is, we're going to be seeing it right here, actually. As we get one little paw, Stitch's paw. Anyway, this is Gigawatt Jolt. Pretty much an offensive capability where Sparky pretty much comes out, experiment 626. Wait, it's not 626, it's oh no wait, it was 226, that was it. Sorry, I was just trying to remember the experiment numbers from the TV show, because, yeah, Sparky did appear in the pilot episode, I believe, so, yeah. Might just be seeing a bit more of him later. But yeah, I'm pretty much showing off what Sparky does right there. You get close to your enemies, zap Stitch, and you pretty much loses his GP. And, nice. See? Sparky putting the work in. Maybe we should put him in a lighthouse somewhere. That'll definitely work out. But anyway, this is pretty much it for the rest of us. We'll just sort of cut down to who wins, and yeah, that's pretty much how I'm playing the command board. I do apologize for you bizarre freaks out there if you desperately wanted to see me play full rounds of this, but the fact that I'm even bothering to show this off at all is probably tantamount to my dedication, because Birth by Sleep is a game I don't happen to like very much, and I'm still going out of my way to show off the fucking command board. Because, I mean, partially, what other commentary would ever do this? Apart from somebody who's as completely insane as I am, but I pretty much just answered my own question there. So that's why I'm showing it off. And if you don't like it, I do apologize. You are getting something exciting at the end as a bit of a treat, so stay tuned. I do need to keep bums in seats somehow, but yeah, Monstro of the Sea. You'll be seeing that, Ishmael. Believe that. And yeah, that is also why it does also pay dividends to use the command board, because, well, let me just look at that. You can level up commands, which you can pretty much do by regular combat anyway, would be also more beneficial because you're also leveling up your character as it goes. So really, it's, who knows, really.
My turn.
By the way, I'm trying to remember here, because I can't really be asked to play through this again to find out for sure, but, yeah, since Captain Justice is a playable character in this command board, I guess that means that you don't technically get Captain Dark or Captain Justice, because why would there be two of him in the same temporal space, unless there's time travel involved, but we haven't quite gotten to that Kingdom Hearts game yet, so... Skully's brain tastes like purple. Yeah, I'm also going to apologize if I'm not exactly feeling very funny at the moment. I'm pretty much just recording this late in the evening, just so I can pretty much get this out of the way and, you know, finish Aqua's story and try so desperately to finish all the projects I have to finish before this is over. Anyway, this is Fantasia. Chipper and fucking Pippa fuck around and shoot fireworks and... I can't remember what this does. I think it increases the value of the command squares you place down, although I might be thinking of something... Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it increases the value of the command squares you place down, and you get some sweet extra moolah. Excellent. I'm now immediately thinking of that Cheers episode where Frasier, Woody, and Cliff and Norm try to teach Woody the basics of economics by Monopoly. And Cliff plays the thimble. And as you can tell when I'm bringing out Cheers references, like in Resident Evil 0, that's pretty much, you know, when I'm running out of commentary, because, yeah, well, you know where Solidus-Skully can't think on the fly, that's why he needs tangents. And that Cliff Clavin impersonation is still fucking terrible. But yeah, in terms of some of your special abilities, Navigator is fucking useless. You can pretty much, like, navigate backwards, forwards, left and right based on what you want to do, but it's kind of pish, really. So my best bet is either to go for something that gets you to cover the most ground strategically, or just, you know... fuck it, really. The ones that stun like other characters who might be getting ahead from you. I really don't have much else to say, but, I guess, technically, you can access Captain Justice, so ahoy!
Ta-da! Wearing the mask of peace and hope comes the fearless defender and hero of this town. It is me, Captain Justice!
Yeah, word to the wise, fat people should not wear white because you can see everything. But anyway, you know, fat jokes aside, and a joke that was also horribly stolen by Hellfire... well, that I stole from Hellfire Comms. Oh my god, I was wrong. I was the thief all along. Oh, I pretty much cut all the way to, Peter Pan World. Ah, fuck it anyway. Anyway, in terms of what Neverland's special ability is, yeah, Pixie Dust. You can pretty much move your opponents to anywhere in the square, so, potentially, yeah, you can pretty much just pick up Peter Pan, put him on, you know, the damaging blocks and make him lose GP. Of course, as you saw what Peter Pan did earlier on, again, you can pretty much have him access, you know, Captain Dark or Captain Justice, so, you know, there is that. I just wanted to show it off, and, that's pretty much it. Oh, poor Captain Hook. Hasn't he suffered enough? Just wanted to see his mum, according to that terrible Peter Pan and Wendy TV series. And then Peter cut off his hand, fed it to a crocodile, and torments him ever so. Well, because he has the audacity to fucking grow up. Oh, Peter, you've turned into a pirate! Like that 2003 Hook movie, or fucking whatever.
You can't stop me.
Ugh, Jesus. Yeah, anyway, I'm not really too focused on winning these, I'm pretty much just here to show these off, and, the only reason why you otherwise would be wanting to go after the command boards and winning 7 games is because that also raises, your arena level, which I think I also touched upon before when we went there as Ventus, but fuck it, touch upon it again. Yeah, you pretty much also have levels that you can advance through in the Mirage Arena. The more levels you advance, the more challenges you unlock, and of course the more, you know, medals you get, which you can then spend for some unique little perks, like you can get Trinity Limit here, as a specific command ability that you can use for the command deck. You can unlock, if you have enough, you can unlock shot locks, stuff like that, really. It's rather expensive, so again, I don't really waste too much time grinding here, because this game is already grindy enough as is. But you do get some pretty unique challenges. Like, again, as I mentioned beforehand, another one of the challenges is, I think it was Keepers of the Arena, which is where you fight, the Xehanort armor that you fought in Kingdom Hearts 2. Eriquis armor, where you get to have, like, a more difficult boss fight against Eriquis' Keyblade armor with more unique abilities. And again, just a bunch of different other stuff. The only one of which I'm really showing off, apart from anything else, is, well, the Monsters of the Sea battle, which does have a unique boss battle that we're going to be fighting off, well, as soon as we're finished with the final command board, but anything else apart from that is just, stuff you'll either see in Terror Story, or stuff that I can't be asked with, because I either don't know how to unlock it, or I was tired and needed a drink. Anyway, they had Jim Cummings on the payroll, so fuck it, here's, you know, Winifred Feces and Tigger, who no doubt are hungry for blood and honey. But it's also pretty much making the use out of your voice talent, so here you go.
Nice.
In terms of talking about the differences between command boards, apart from, you know, special abilities here and there, the only real difference is that, well, depending on how much further you advance, characters will tend to use, perks and bonuses that you also get to use. Like, you know how Aqua's using the cards like, you know, Triple Dice Roll or Navigator or whatever? Yeah, characters like Peter Pan or Captain Hook will use cards if, you know, they feel that they need the advantage or, you know, placing down commands where it feels effective. So yeah, like, I mean, if this thing is your shindig and you enjoy, like, these sort of party games, then there is definitely fun to be had. It's just, I think for a viewing experience, it's probably just not the most engaging, and in terms of content in and of itself, it probably isn't the main reason that you're playing Kingdom Hearts for. It's like a bit of a Sonic Adventure Chow Garden situation where there is depth to be found, but again, depending on what you're playing these games for, it's either going to be something that, you know, you appreciate and get into for its own sake, or something that you find absolutely mind-numbingly tedious, and are begging for the sweet release of death. And, of course, this is the power-up ability for the Winifred shit level. Oh no, he's coming for blood and honey! And I wonder if that sequel's still getting made, because I remember the, like, filmmaker guy who made that edgy film is like, I'm gonna ruin more people's childhoods and bring more Winifred feces edginess to the table. I still have yet to see Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, but it'll probably be very funny. Or at least shite, and something that I can drink myself silly with and just laugh at, I suppose. Oh, bother. Oh no, Winnie the Pooh must face the wrath of Captain Dark. Oh, bother. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to show off, and oh my god, we can finally wake up and get to something exciting! Yeah, so we're back in the main arena, Monsters of the Sea. I wonder what this is gonna be about. Now I've finally woken up and I have energy again. Me! Enthusiasm! This must be what it feels like to not be suicidal. This seems familiar. Now if you'll remember Kingdom Hearts 1, this is looking rather familiar to the spotty insides of a whale's stomach. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty much gonna cut the bullshit here. We are inside Monstro. This is the monster of the sea, and not only are we fighting unversed inside Monstro's giant space gut, but yeah, we also get to fight Monstro himself once we beat our way out of here. As multiple times, actually. Now, there is a bit of a specific caveat, because again, you can pretty much access this, I believe, like, the moment you start the Mirage Arena, but be forewarned, because no matter how useful pussy penetration might be in dealing with the unversed, look at the levels. This is meant to be battle level 8, and they're not kidding, this is going to be pretty tough. You need to level up significantly before attempting some of these challenges, and by god, you are going to get your ass kicked even if you are leveled up, so not only do you have to play with skill, but you also need to be sufficiently powerful enough to take on these characters, as well as, you know, utilizing specific magic abilities compared to each fight. I suppose this is where the depth in the command deck is meant to come in place in a chain of memories kind of way, where you adequately prepare your deck for the situation at hand, but trust me, you're gonna be in for pain and a bit of a slog, so get ready. That's why I brought in some of the more powerful abilities, and yeah, crowd control abilities such as, you know, Transcendence work wonderful here, and of course Mind Square. This will come in really handy as we battle Monstro itself, as it spat us outside of its world. And again, since this is before Kingdom Hearts 1, and as well as what we saw in Dream Drop Distance, yeah, this is before Monstro left its world, so technically we are in Pinocchio land right now. Where does Pinocchio take place, actually? Is it still Italy, or is it changed for, like, different, for the movie? I can't remember. Anyway, the point is that... Actually, no, it would have to be Italy, because Geppetto, it sounds very Italian. Oh, well, anyway, enemy dynamics. Again, basically, your main thing that you want to do here is that you want to knock out Monstro with the barrels, and then basically leave him a little bit stunned in daze where he goes, duh, and then pretty much use some of your more powerful attacks to pretty much take him down. I primarily recommend just using finishes like, you know, Thunderbolt, as well as using, well, primarily ranged attacks. Again, you can see the area of effect stuff like Transcendence doesn't really work here. Feroga Burst is pretty decent, and Mind Square absolutely wrecks his shit if you can get Monstro in a decent pattern. But at the same time, Monstro is a crafty bastard. He has water field advantage, so... Oh no, his cards get like a 25 plus attack power bonus. Or whatever fucking bullshit Duelist Kingdom rules are going on at play here. Again, he'll pretty much just jump up and down to and fro. Shotlocks can help rather reasonably, but... Yeah, the only place you can technically target Monstro is his eyes. Again, you would have thought that you would have been able to you know, shoot anywhere on his blubbery body, but I guess being fat technically does help him evade from damage, and I believe there are very specific thresholds in which Monstro can pretty much just, you know, take down a set amount of health. It's like, oh, no, pussy penetration. Aqua's penetrating me pussy. I need to go off and swallow her again. Even though he could pretty much do it at any time, but fuck it. Nothing really. The biggest thing I can really recommend is try and stay on dry land as long as possible. Use the barrels to knock down Monstro so you can get some hits in on him. And when he flips his tail up like that, mind square away. This is going to take a wee bit of practice in order to get the pattern down, but yeah. Don't do what I'm doing here. I'm pretty much just dodging out of the way to stay alive, but what you're meant to be doing is pretty much just utilizing Mind Square and a lot of your finisher attacks to pretty much deal as much damage to Monstro as you can. It's going to be very pip damage, but you know, you will eventually get there, and by the time that timer up there runs out, that's pretty much when Monstro eats you again, and, well, the less said about that, the better. I mean, basically all that it means is that you're going to be fighting waves upon waves of enemies again, so, you know, nothing gained, nothing ventured, I suppose. But yeah, some abilities are a bit more useful than others. Again, Pussy Penetration can be useful if you have Monstro stunned for a period of time, but the problem with, you know, utilizing your basic finisher of Pussy Penetration is that, again, you're pretty much leaving Monstro, well, again, it leaves Monstro with time to pretty much, you know, duck out of the way and, you know, go back under the water, where, again, your Pussy Penetration will pretty much be useless. I don't think Explosive Cum will really help that much either, since it's pretty much, you know, just a one-time slam down, and again, Monstro can easily knock you into water, so nothing really to help you, I guess. To my cost, though, it was a bit of a saddening thing, because I did realize that utilizing Mind Square would be rather useful, since Monstro does go over the center. Well, it's not really an island, it's really more of like a center platform, really. That again, using Mind Square can pretty much, you know, wreck his shit, but because he does constantly go over there, but too little too late, so I pretty much had to get him on the second way through. But yeah, just make sure you keep your shot lock full. Yeah, the arenas do gradually get a little bit harder, as you can see here. Monstro's stomach acid has now become a little bit more prevalent. Again, there are spraying jets that will pretty much cause you pip damage and, you know, knockback, which is never fun to deal with, but all that aside, it's pretty solid so far. I mean, if you're looking for challenging fights with a Birth by Sleep combat engine, the Mirage Arena will pretty much have you covered, but at the same time, it really also depends on how much you enjoy the command deck. I don't, but I still complete it anyway, because for some bizarre reason, I felt the need to show off the command board, and, well, later on in Terra Story, where we do more combat-focused things, I also felt the need to show off, you know, at least one of the character's ultimate shot locks. Partially because it does become one of the Lingering Will's main talking points, but in turn, it's also because, well, you know, I never actually unlocked it before, and I just wanted to see what it was like. This is also Ghost Drive, a little bit useful when dealing with multiple opponents, a little bit less so when you're dealing with fucking, you know, trying to hit barrels towards Monstro. I mean, there you go, you see it works well there, and again, like, had I been able to completely, you know, fill up the finisher, I probably would have been able to deal some damage to Monstro via invincibility frames, but the problem here is that you can't cancel out of it by pressing the pause button, and you pretty much just have to wait for it to run out and utilize the rest of your commands, really. Oh yeah, and this is Monstro's other attack, he swallows you up. It doesn't send you back to the arena, mind you, but he just swallows you up, blows you out of his blowhole, and... if only I had Pussy Penetration, that would have put him in his place. But yeah, as you can no doubt tell, the only two places to target this big whale of a whale is either his tail or his eye. I don't know if that's a dolphin? No, I don't know if that's a whale's weak point. I don't know. Maybe we should ask the Japanese. They're all about eating whale meat and shark. I mean, not that I can actually blame them, because whale meat and shark is actually quite delicious. And if you're thinking that I'm a bit of a sicko, I live in Australia, a land that's girt by a sea, and a place where we also suffer rather dangerous shark attacks and, on a very frequent basis, actually, especially as summer's rolling around. Quite grim. So you'll forgive me if I don't exactly feel very friendly towards sharks or whales. But anyway, this fight's nearly over. I'm quite surprised I actually managed to get this down to a reasonably short time frame. Because, yeah, as the fight drags on, it does get gradually harder, but, you know, I managed to finish it off quite nicely, so, yeah, I'm pretty proud of this take. I got to show off another part of Birth by Sleep. You unlock Monstro's profile by completing it, And of course you advance further in the Mirage Arena and ooh, his tail got a brunt of the mine attack. Anyway, on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep a new metal, and next time, we continue with the story of Birth by Sleep.